What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you for tuning in, for watching and listening to my rambles and rants about the state of affairs of this world. I appreciate your appreciation of my videos. And we're going to talk about the law of attraction and taking it too seriously. Taking the law of attraction too seriously. Let me explain here before people start getting butthurt. Law of attraction states that like attracts like. Whatever you're inside of you is also outside of you. And so, for example, if you're feeling happy, you attract happy people to you, happy circumstances, happy situations. And if you're feeling angry, then you start to attract angry situations and angry people, and it's all vibes. Law of attraction essentially tells you everything is vibration, everything is a frequency, and the way this universe is set up, the way this video game is set up, this simulation is, the law of attraction is one of its very basic rules, or laws even, just like the law of gravity. Law of gravity is a physical law. You don't really have to know about the law of gravity, but it's there. It's acting on you all the time, whether you like it or not. In the same way, the law of attraction rules your life, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. And it's very important to understand it so you can align yourself on like a happy, positive vibe and start to attract happy, positive circumstances and people to you. As you start to do that, and as you start to inevitably, because it's just the way the simulation works, inevitably you're going to start to change your inner self and your inner circumstance or your inner vision of the world, your inner perspective. You're going to see right away the outside world mirrors the exact same thing inside of you. Inevitably, you're going to start to see some success with it. If you already have trying to be applying the principles of law of attraction, you probably have already come a long way and you're still trying to level up to the next level. Welcome to my world. Always trying to level up. This is why I have a poster of these guys, the Super Saiyans, because no matter what level they go up to, they're always trying to level up. Here, let's go. Another picture. Super Saiyan! So, you can think of these guys, they're trying to also apply the law of attraction, right? They're trying to get stronger. And so they train, they do whatever is necessary. So, now, here's the thing. As you get more into this law of attraction stuff and you start to take responsibility for everything, which is good, when things don't go your way, you might say something like, okay, I must be doing something wrong. Something is wrong, something is off. I gotta go in there and fix myself. You're like a mechanic, you're a car, right? So you're like, okay, I gotta go into my mind and I gotta fix something. And then you take it a little bit seriously, right? Because you're like, okay, it's all about me. It's me. I am the one that's creating my reality. Okay, true, and it's very empowering to take responsibility. But sometimes things just fucking happen because they're supposed to happen. Whether you like it or not, or whether you're applying the law of attraction on the physical realm or not, they're supposed to happen anyway. Because, let me explain this, to the best of my ability, with my limited understanding of this. You have two sides to yourself. You have two selves. You have the ego self, which is just your physical body and your personality. So, for example, Saeed's character, it's my ego, it's my consciousness experiencing this ego. So this is your first self is your ego. And your higher self, that is the awareness, that is the soul, that is the consciousness, that is having a temporary experience of this temporal self, this ego self, if you will. And the law of attraction applies on both levels, meaning sometimes you might look at yourself and say, I'm perfectly aligned, and yet I got sick. And yet I caught a disease, or yet I'm not making money, or whatever it is. But understand that the law of attraction is also applying at a higher dimension, at a higher level. And sometimes your consciousness, your awareness, the divine thing that is you, that is having a temporary experience of this thing, sets up these things for you. You know, it's like they set up your higher self. You set up, for example, you could be doing everything so well here. You could be tuned in. And now you broke your wrist. And I said broke your wrist because that's kind of what happened to me. You know, as you guys can see this right here, I had 2 surgeries here. And I actually can tell you exactly, like, I can give you this example so you understand what I'm trying to say, but don't take it too seriously. Back in, what are we now? 2018, sometime early 2015. So 3 years ago, right? I broke my wrist, and even though like I was fucking tuned in, everything was nice, I was tuned in, things were amazing at the time, you know, in every aspect. But I broke my wrist. I fucking broke my wrist. I was mountain biking, broke my wrist. And as a result, I had to get 2 surgeries. And I'll tell you the higher purpose of getting these 2 surgeries. See, I could look at myself and say, well, I attracted the accident to myself, you know. I wasn't properly aligned. Even though when I was mountain biking, I actually didn't have any fear. You might say, oh, you were scared and that's why you fell and you broke. But actually, no, I was screaming and I was happy and I was like, I didn't even think of that I'm gonna fall and break my wrist and perhaps almost die. Like it was pretty bad. I didn't think of it, but it happened. It happened to me, and I'm gonna tell you why it happened. I was aligned. It's not like I had to go in there and fix something. This is not one of those situations. I broke my wrist because when I broke my wrist, what happened is I stopped going to the gym and I stopped doing because I'm a very active person, and I sat at home and I started reflecting on what I want to do. And it turns out I want to do YouTube because I had all this time on my hands. And guess what I did? Because I tell you something, a healthy Saeed is not going to sit at home. I'm telling you right now, a healthy Saeed doesn't sit at home. But I needed to for 6-7 months before I healed because I ended up getting 2 surgeries. Sat at home, figured my shit out, did a lot of self-reflection, said I want to start YouTubing. And I got a bunch of books. And I started reading about fitness and health and learning about posture and learning about so many things and reading philosophy books and fitness books. Then come September, so 7-8 months later, I started YouTubing with all this time that I had in my hands to actually learn what I need to learn so I can present it to the people. See, that's sort of like the law of attraction working at a higher level here. You know, my higher self attracted this accident, this breaking of my wrist and the surgeries and I was tuned. I'm telling you right now, I was tuned, but I still got the accident anyway. So it's a two-way thing. You're working with your temporal ego self, but you're also working with your higher self. And the law of attraction applies on both ends, probably more so on your higher self. There are certain things that happen in your life, I think, that it just seems like it is meant to happen. It is designed by your higher self, by some sort of higher wisdom, you know, but it seems to me that there are certain events. I can go back to immigrating to Canada, you know, that just seemed so orchestrated. My dad walking on us one day saying, in 3 months you're going to be in Canada. And all my life and the entire person that I became after was because of that incident, because of moving to Canada. So I think, you know, we try our best here on an ego level to fix our minds and get through self-limiting beliefs and really fix and fuck ourselves from the traumas of the childhood, which 99% of us carry some sort of trauma. We try our best. And you see the law of attraction working right in front of your eyes. You see it. Your world changes because the universe is governed by that law. But understand that this dimension that we're in, this third dimension, physical matter reality, is a lower dimension. And there are higher dimensions. And the law of attraction works on all of these dimensions and all of these levels. And perhaps at a higher dimension, it will always trump how it works on the lower dimension. I don't fucking know. I didn't create this whole fucking thing. I just know shit works. I know this. I know you become positive, you mirror, the world mirrors it back. I know that happens for sure. But sometimes certain aspects, certain things are almost gonna always be out of your ego self-control. You understand what I'm saying? This ego thing. And it's like maybe because of a higher, so like maybe you actually, example, in your mind, you actually don't have any self-limiting beliefs about making money, for example, right? But yet you're not making the money yet. You know, you don't, like in your mind, you're already like the king, you're already the shit, like you're already making money. You know, money is not a problem for you. Really, it could be very well, but you're not yet there. Maybe because you're not meant to be there yet. You see, maybe because your higher self, your higher wisdom is attracting whatever, something you need to deal with right now, a struggle or a situation or something of that sort. So I think that also relieves you from constantly having to blame yourself for things not going well for you, right? And just kind of puts you more in a state of flow, state of surrender, state of trust that there is indeed a higher wisdom that is at work for you. And that higher wisdom is your higher self. It is your boys. I like to call them the spirit guides. I call them my boys. You know, my gang, whatever, something there, you know, you're here for a reason, you're here for a purpose, you're here to experience this character and all the circumstances that come with it. Everything happens for a reason. I 100% believe in that. The more I go back and see why some things happened in my past, the more I'm like, oh my God, that makes perfect sense. You know, that makes perfect sense. So it's this delicate balance, really. It's this delicate balance of your being, the being in you, versus the ego side in you. And both of them have to feel good. And both of them have to be acknowledged. So good luck. You know, it's really like what is, you know, just, I think what I want you to take out of this video, you do what you can to be positive, to be loving, to spread joy, to spread happiness, to enjoy success, to have the mentality of abundance, of success, of happiness. But when certain things happen to you that don't go your way, don't go first blaming yourself. Don't go first saying, it's me, I'm doing something wrong, let me fix. Instead, choose to look for the reason, choose to look that there's a higher wisdom at work, that there's a higher purpose, a higher thing there on this journey, on this experience in life. When I moved to Canada, for example, I got on my knees and I prayed that this wouldn't happen. I was, you know, at the time, my ego self didn't want this to happen. You know, I was 13, but still, you know, I didn't want this to happen. I got on my knees, I prayed, please, God, don't make this happen, please. No, I want to stay here. Well, what the fuck did I know back then? Because now looking back, if I hadn't come to Canada, I don't know, man. I might have still been I might be now like a chubby kid that has like no confidence, is back in the Middle East and is a completely different person. So trust that there is something at work for you, and trust it, surrender to it, get in touch with it through meditation and contemplation, and just really the perspective of what is the purpose of this? Why is this happening to me? There must be a silver lining, because there always is. That's it. I love you guys. I love every single one of you. If you're watching this video, that means the law of attraction has brought us together to spread joy, happiness, and love to all our fellow brothers and sisters, all of humanity. We create heaven on earth together. I love you guys. I love every single one of you, but don't forget to subscribe or you're going to sleep with the fishes. And I'm going to use the law of attraction to make sure you're going to sleep with the fishes. So, subscribe.